Third graders, welcome to your math lesson today. We are talking about placing fractions on a number line with the endpoints of 0 and 1. So placing fractions on a number line between 0 and 1. Grab a piece of paper and your own fraction kit if you have it, and let's get started. To warm up, we are going to count by eighths. Paying close attention to that diagram at the end. We're not counting by eighths, but by eighths. So here we go. Starting off, we have no eighths. We have 0/8, which is the same as just 0. Then we have 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, and because we know that this is split into 8 equal parts, having 4 of those 8 equal parts also is equivalent to 1/2. 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8. Again, we know that once we have all 8 parts of our bar, we've got one whole. So 8/8. That numerator and denominator are the same, so we have one whole. All right, let's think about our number lines. We've used them before, and they usually look something like this. Of course, the numbers can differ, but they always have an arrow on the end showing that the number line continues on for infinity. And today we are focusing on this part of the number line right here between 0 and 1, because the fractions we're looking at today are less than 1. So how do we show fractions on a number line? Today we're going to start by labeling this number line in halves or with halves. So if you have your fraction kit, you can use your half bar to help you. And we have to start by giving a starting point and an ending point. So it matches up with our fraction kit here. And now we need to label our number line. But right now, we're only showing one whole. We know this is 1 and this is 0. But how do we know where to put the line? Well, our fraction kit up here shows us exactly half of this length. So we can put our line right here and then label it. So if we're starting at 0, how many halves do we have? None. We've got 0/2 or 0 halves. Now we travel to the next line. How many halves have we traveled? 1/2. And then, if we keep going, how many halves have we traveled to here? 2 halves, exactly, which again we know is equivalent to 1. You will also need to know how to label a number bond whenever you're working with a number line. So here we have our number bond. We know that we're breaking apart one whole into 2 equal parts, which we also know are unit fractions. So we know we've split it into 1/2 and another 1/2. So there's our number bond that represents the number line that we had there just a second ago. All right, let's move on to our next slide, our next example. So we're going to practice. This time, go ahead and pause the video at different points and practice on your own. So we're going to label thirds on the number line below. Make sure you have your thirds fraction kit, line it up. You can go ahead and pause and label the number line on your own. If you don't have a fraction kit, do your best and then come back to see how you did. Okay, so you should have used your fraction kit to help you split up this number line into 3 equal parts. 1, 2, and 3. We've got 3 equal parts. And to label it, again, we know that this is 0 and this is 1. So here we have 0/3. We haven't gotten any thirds yet. Then moving on here, we've got 1/3. We've traveled 1/3 of the number line. Here we go again. We've traveled 2/3 of the number line. And then finally, we've gotten all the way to 1, and we have traveled 3/3 of this number line. All right, now give the number bond a try. So go ahead and pause the video, try to fill in a number bond. This one will be a 3-part number bond because we split into thirds, and then play the video when you're ready to check. Okay, so here we are looking for a number bond. Again, we have split up our whole into 3 equal parts. Again, we're looking at our unit fractions because we are looking at these parts that have been split into the same size. So now we have 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 would give us 3/3 or our 1 whole. All right, one more example. This time you're going to try to do it all on your own and then come back at the very end to see if you got the same answer as I did. So here we go. We're going to label fourths on the number line below. So just like last time, go ahead and grab your kit and try to label your number line. All right, let's run through the answer here and see your first step would be to split up your line, to divide it into fourths, and then label it. So again, we're starting with, we know this is 0. We've got 0/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. Again, 4/4 would be 1, so we've gone from 0 to 1 on our number line. All right, now give the number bond a try. Pause here and give it a shot. Okay, before we go over the answer, today's secret word is lamp. So if you have a question for your teacher, let them know you have watched the video because the secret word is lamp. Okay, here is the answer to our number bond. Again, we've got our 1 whole split into 4 equal parts. Each one is 1/4 or the unit fraction, 1/4. Okay, today for your classwork, you will go to this slide, this slideshow, so Module 5, Lesson 14, and you'll see that we have made it to where you can drag most of the work that you're doing. So each part is a different color to help you keep them separated, and you can just drag this line to help you. So it says draw a number bond for each fractional unit, partition the fraction strip, that's this part up top, to show the unit fractions of the number bond. Use the fraction strip to help you label the fractions on the number line. Be sure to label the fractions at 0 and 1. So we'll do this one together and then you can do the other 3 on your own, although you'll have to recreate this one on your own assignment. So here we have our number line. It says we've got 1, we're dividing it in half, so we're looking for halves. It filled out the number bond for you already. So here we go. We are dragging this and partitioning it into half. So here's half and there's half. And now we need to label our number line. So we can drag this. If I have 0 halves, I'm at 0. So I can drag that right there. Then if I travel the first part of the number line, I know that I'm at 1/2. Then if I travel the next part and I have a whole, I know that I have 2 halves, so I can drag it. So it should be pretty easy for you to drag them after you partition your fractions. To type in the bubbles for the fractions, all you have to do is double click until you have the little cursor there. Again, if you're doing thirds and you're looking for the unit fraction, that is 1/3. So all you have to type on your keyboard is 1, and then look for the slash. It's the same button as the question mark. Slash, and then 3 would be on bottom. 3, and then you can click enter, and it'll turn it into a fraction for you. Okay, so that should work for all of these bubbles. And then you've got 2 word problems to do on the next page. So if you have any questions, remember to ask your teacher and remember the secret word that I hid somewhere in the video. All right, happy fractioning.